everybody, and welcome back to episode 3 of The Sent Ones. My name's Mark, and again, I'll be your host for this episode. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to make it this far and for joining us and coming along with us on this journey. And any of our viewers that are going to get to know us over the next little while, they're going to want to know how we kind of fell into this lifestyle and what happened to rip us up out of our old life and send us on a whole new path of service to the Most High, service to God. And I want to share that story with you today. I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory as far as, how we came to be the Sent Ones, how we came down this road. And so to do just a quick recap for anybody just joining us, my wife and I, we have sold off all of our belongings, or given away all our belongings. We sold our house, we bought a fifth wheel trailer, and we are going on just a massive expedition. I wouldn't even call it a road trip. It really is an expedition where we are touring the Americas, and we're reaching as many people as we can to share the gospel. And also what we really truly hope to do is inspire other Christians to get the fire lit in them so that they go out and do the same. That's really what we're truly hoping to accomplish with this video series. So my wife Carmen and I, we've been together for about 16 years. And in that time, the time has flown by. We have done so many things together. We've had so many experiences. We've been to so many places, and we've met just countless amazing people. We've been so grateful for all of the opportunities and the people that we've met over the years. I don't know if I mentioned in a previous video, I know I've talked about this in videos that I've done in the past, but as far as this series, I don't think I really have touched too much on our marriage, my proposal. I had proposed to Carmen in an old ancient temple in Peru, and that was in 2018. And the following year, we planned a trip for 33 of our friends and family members to come down and experience Peru with us. Of all the places that we've been together, the Sacred Valley of Peru is definitely our favorite. It's definitely my favorite. I don't want to speak for Carmen and all the places she's been, but I can tell you for certain for myself, it is definitely my favorite place that I've ever been. As I also mentioned in a previous video, Carmen and I used to live on a sailboat that was out of Port Credit, Ontario, and that was a 42-foot Beneteau Oceanus. We didn't name it, but the boat's name was the Thera, and that was 3 of the best years of our life. It wasn't always easy, that's for sure, and we didn't know it at the time, but that sailboat played a huge part in giving us confidence to undertake this huge adventure and training us on how to live and survive and thrive in the elements. So to anybody looking in from the outside, it appeared that Carmen and I had the perfect life. And as far as we were concerned, we did have the perfect life. We wanted for nothing. We lived in a home that we customized to be exactly what we wanted it to be. And it wasn't a huge home, but for us, it was like living in a castle. There's just the two of us living in this home. We call it the Castle Up on the Hill. We nicknamed it the James Street Manor, actually. And it was just us living there with our 2 cats, Sir Winston and Elsa. But for us, it really did feel like a castle, and we customized this home. When I say that we renovated it, what I should say is that it was a restoration project. This home was in dire straits when we purchased it. There was holes in the roof. We had 2 families of raccoons living in the home. It took us a long time to trap them all and reintegrate them back into the wilderness. We didn't kill any of the raccoons or anything like that, but we actually, there's stories that come along with this too. The raccoons ended up becoming quite fond of us. We took great care of them in the time that we were there, but I digress. coming back to the story here, Carmen and I, it really did look as though we had the perfect life. We had everything that we wanted. We had this beautiful home and you know, what was our family. We don't have kids or anything like that, but it really appeared like we wanted for nothing. So, you know, here we are carrying on with life like everything's just fine and dandy, and sometimes tragedy is, well, tragedy is right around the corner sometimes. And the way, you know, the way tragedy struck for us was the same way it struck for so many people as a result of this pandemic, okay? You know, many of the frontline workers, you know, doctors, nurses, police, fire, ambulance, they were being forced to make a decision, a medical decision, to either take these shots. We all know what these shots were. You either take these shots or lose your job, lose your career. All right, so we've, you know, globally, we've never been faced with a situation like this where all over the world, frontline workers were given the ultimatum, doctors, nurses, police, fire, ambulance, so on and so forth, and not just the, you know, the what was deemed quote unquote the essential service, but you know, the food industry, the travel industry. So many people were being forced to either take the shots or be out of a job. You know, you won't be able to put food on the table for your family unless you take these shots. And we very much stood against that. I had a huge problem, and I still have a huge problem about that. I mean, in the nursing industry alone, thousands upon thousands of nurses chose to walk away from their jobs rather than be forced to take an experimental shot. They didn't want it, and they were so adamant about it that thousands of nurses just walked off the job, gave up their careers just like that. You know, and that's where tragedy struck for us the same way it did for so many others, in that we assumed that it really was only a matter of time before me personally, was faced with the exact same ultimatum. So we made the decision. We had a long chat one night. Carmen and I sat down and we looked at all the angles and all of our options, and we realized that our best course of action at that point in time was to sell our house. And this was the house that we poured our heart and soul into building. We lived there, we built a home, we built a life, and we lived there for 7 years. And now we were backed into a corner where we were forced to give all that up. And I'll be honest with you, it was absolutely one of the lowest points of my entire life, you know. And on top of that, to make matters worse, I was diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So, I mean, I was going through easily the worst time in my life. I thought my career was over. I basically thought my life was over. And furthermore, the division that was brought on by this pandemic caused us to lose touch with so many friends, so many family members. We were accused of being crazy. We were accused of being reckless. We were, you know, called all kinds of names. We were told that we were in a cult. We were told, I mean, the list goes on and on, right? So now, before I carry on with this video, I want you to know that this is not a pity party, okay? I'm not here to try and garnish sympathy from anybody. I am not sitting here feeling sorry for myself, and neither is Carmen, for how our situation turned out, because we do truly feel that the hand of God has been placed upon us. You know, Romans 8:28 tells us that all things work together for good for them that love God and them that are called according to his purpose. Okay, so it is absolutely evident to us that God has, yes, ripped us out of our old life and gave us a good old-fashioned soccer kick into a whole new direction. And for us, that's okay. It was a bumpy, rocky ride at first, but it really has been a welcome change and a welcome challenge that's been laid out ahead of us. And the challenge is quite simple. How much can you do to serve God in the last days? Okay, so it's forced us to put all of our wants aside, all of our desires aside, and really submit to his will and submit to what we truly feel Jesus would want from us in these last days. And so this path that we've chosen has really required us to step out in faith. I mean, a massive leap of faith. Feel like I'm standing in the boat and Jesus is out on the water and he's calling me out, and he's got his hand outreached and I'm about to step out of that boat, and man, it has taken all the faith that we could muster to go on this journey, you know? And so yes, our mission here is to go out into the world and share the gospel with as many people as we can. But on top of that, you know, we hope our actions inspire other true Bible-believing Christians to get out there and do the same thing. You know, I mean, what are you waiting for? The time is now. Seriously, like, how many more signs of the end times prophecy is it going to take for people to start getting serious about the return of the King? Because, mark my words, Jesus is coming, and justice is also coming. All right, so that pretty much sums up the backstory as far as, you know, how did we come to be on this path? You know, Carmen and I, we really were just swimming along with life, living what we thought was the perfect life. Like I said, we wanted for nothing. We lived in a great house. We had all the things and vacations and all of life's little desires. And we truly feel like God reached down and ripped us up out of our old life, slapped us around a little bit, and sent us on a whole new path. And it's been a bit of a rocky road, a bit shaky, but we truly are grateful for everything that's happened along this path so far, the people that we've met, the experiences that we've had, and for the safety that we've been given throughout all of these storms. And we constantly are reminding ourselves to continue to give praises and gratitude even when you're in the storm, because it's easy to give gratitude and praises to God, you know, when things are going well. But it's a lot harder to keep and maintain that faith and trust in the Almighty when things, you know, get a little bit tough. I want to thank you so much for joining me this far throughout episode number 3 of The Sent Ones, the backstory. I'm going to close up this video with a quick prayer, so if you wouldn't mind, just bow your heads with me real quick. Lord, I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for the opportunity to put my old life aside, so that I can begin a whole new life in service to you. Lord, we know that you have been with us from the beginning, and your word says that you will never leave us nor forsake us. And so we ask, Lord, that you help to keep us safe in our travels as you have always done. We also pray, Lord, that our video messages help to inspire as many Christians as possible, as you require, to get out there and share the truth of Christ and the sacrifice that he's made for us, and to share the gospel with everybody that they encounter. I pray all of these things in the name of the one true living God, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah, King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Amen.